like to talk about the misperception of maladaptive behaviors. All behaviors are a form of communication. And with individuals on the spectrum, some of us have some severe sensory issues. And as adults, we have learned to compensate. An example is, you won't find me driving at 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon on a highway or freeway through a city because it's absolutely a sensory nightmare. I have an acute sense of peripheral vision, which means I can see things much more clearly out of the side of my eyes. And when cars doing 80 in a 55 mile an hour zone are flying up around you and everybody's in a hurry to get home, it becomes a sensory nightmare that I cannot control. My body starts reacting. It's not that I'm choosing to do that. I cannot control that. So my coping strategy is not to be on the highway at 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. I'll reschedule my appointments or find an alternate route. It's that simple. Yet I've been told by individuals that that's avoidance, and it's maladaptive because I'm not dealing with the problem. I'm avoiding the problem. I want you, if you have autism and you're watching this, to understand one thing. Never, ever let anyone ever shame you into feelings of unworthiness for behaviors you can't control when you do your best. Maladaptive behaviors, I have not heard on the news stories of police cars, stopping autistic individuals on a back road and citing them saying, okay, you're not driving on the highway at 4 o'clock in the afternoon because it's busy. I see numerous reports on TV about individuals pulled over by the police because they were in a hurry. They tailgated somebody, cut somebody off, took a gun out and shot somebody, got out at an intersection and smashed somebody's windshield and tried to cause bodily harm. That's maladaptive behavior. Yet in our society, that's just considered, we don't like it, it's not correct, but we just let it go. No big deal is made about road rage, which I think is a mental illness. It's ironic because in today's society of inclusion, we have individuals in wheelchairs. We don't call them crippled or handicapped. That is offensive. We call them physically challenged. An individual who has hearing loss and can't speak well, we don't call them deaf and dumb because that is offensive. Yet for individuals on the spectrum, we're a disease. We're a disorder. We need to be cured. God help us for the parents who took Tylenol during pregnancy, right? We're not afforded the same kind of inclusion that others are, and that's not right. It destroys our self-esteem. If you are autistic and you're watching this, you need to understand this very important point. If you're watching this means that the universe says you deserve to be here. You deserve to be here just like anyone else does. And let no one else try to convince you that you're not worthy because of your autistic mannerisms. Sometimes people will do really mean things, and what they'll do is being unable to deal with autism, being unfamiliar with autism being a difference in how we process information as opposed to disease, will use autism against you and say, well, you know what? I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be your wife or husband. I don't want to be your partner. You can't work here anymore because I can't worry about you 365 days, all the time worrying about what's going to go on. I can't take you on the highway because I'm afraid you're going to have a meltdown. Those are excuses that they're using because they're looking for some way to get out of the relationship, whether it's a work relationship, a spousal relationship, a friendship. It's not you. If they're going to resort to having to use your, quote, disability, unquote, against you, then they're really not worth having as friends. There are 8 billion people in this world. I'm sure we can find someone. And it doesn't feel good to be on the receiving end. I've lost a lot of friendships, an ability to hold jobs because of a misunderstanding of what autism is. Autism is not a disability. It's not even a disorder. We perceive the world in a different way. And I think we're not the problem. We're part of the solution. If you want to talk about a disability or the disability of autism, let's include some of the traits that autistic individuals possess. And you tell me if it's a disability. A, we don't like to lie or cheat or be dishonest. B, when we commit to something, we commit to it full and with all our heart. C, if we see someone lying on the street, we don't take out our cell phones and immediately live stream it. We drop what we're doing and we run to help them. And D, We don't have bullying in our nature. Most of us have been bullied as kids and are still bullied as adults. We don't like the way it feels, and we don't want someone else to feel the same way. I think that's called empathy, which is something that we're lacking. So I want you to understand that if you have autism and you're watching this, if you're a parent with an autistic child or an autistic adult, everybody was created for a purpose, including us. We're not the problem. We're part of the solution. And you're not alone. There are many of us who feel the same way. And I hope in the coming weeks, as I put out more videos, you will feel more secure in understanding that the differences that you possess in us as an autistic person is simply a difference, not a disease or not a disorder. Have a great day, guys.